little control of the meetings. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Very good.
Yeah, we can.
Before we start, I received an information from Mr. Mohammed Shanti about we will have a midterm exam. So before we had quizzes, around 5 quizzes, now it's changed. So we will have a midterm exam worth 25 marks, I believe. Just let me make sure about the information. So there will be midterm exam, computerized MTA. So it will be based on computer. The computer will be the source of this information and the source for this exam. The midterm exam will be inside the university. So you have to go to university to do this exam, and it will be worth 25 marks. So they changed a little bit in the construction of the material. So rather than having 25 marks on separated on 5 quizzes, there will be one midterm, 25 marks. The time and the details about this quiz will be published later on LMS, and I believe you will receive an email with this information. Okay, so this is just to confirm with you and to update you with the course construction. Okay, do you have any question? Okay, so if you have no question, just be ready about the midterm. I'm not sure how many meetings will be covered there, or the date and time of the quiz, sorry, of the midterm. But be ready by studying the materials. Usually we cover around 4 meetings, then we have the midterm. So expected it will be after 1 month, maybe, the midterm. So now we are in Rajab. Most probably it will be the end of Sha'ban. I believe so. Before Ramadan. So let us start meeting 2. Just a quick review about the last meeting. Meeting 1, we covered chapter 1 and 2. We discussed a lot of terms like what is the internet, how we could connect with the internet, what we need from the tools to connect to the internet, and also we distinguish between hardware, software. So we covered
and the data we should use.
Yes, and also distinguish between the data transfer to information. So why we could use a computer, and why is it useful to us? And today we will cover chapter 3 and 4. Chapter 3 will be about technology and information competency. 4 will be about communication and everyday life. So chapter 3, the outcome of this chapter is we will be able to explain how this technology, which is the computer, impact us, and especially in our education, how it has affected our education style. We will describe strategies for effective distance learning as we experience this type distance learning among all ages. So we will see how we can get the most advantage out of this type of learning. Also, we will discuss approach for developing information competency. So you can consider today's session as general information also about technology and the information competency, and the style of this technology has affected our education. So technology and your academic life. So basically we will focus on the academic life, which is related to studying and learning. Technology has developed academic life. Here are some of the ways how you may use technology in your classes. So we will focus on how we can use computer and internet to make it a tool that can help us in studying. We could have course website. The course website will have the basic information about the course, like what we have now. DLMS, for example, we can consider it as course website. We have a place, which is a website that we can refer to find any information related to the subject, like its title, how many hours, which chapters will be there, which exercise we have to do. If we have any quiz, we can check our grades there. We can see any announcement about the course, all online on the website. Also, we could have textbook companion website, as we have the same things. We could have, rather than the paper book, we could have online book. So we could have a website that contain the same book. So we could have e-copy, which is basically a digital copy of the book that could have some summarizing of the chapters, have some exams, some practice tests, some flashcards. We could also have some podcasts, so we could have some video or audio recorded to explain the classes material. We could have a blogs, which is like a discussion place. All of the students and the teachers from the different group can participate in and write their thoughts about a topic in the subject. So kind of web-based public diary in which the writer offers ideas and thoughts. We could also have a classroom presentation program like PowerPoints and Apple's Keynote. Also, we need some method of communication, especially in the education phase. So the very obvious one, we need some email to register in the website, to register on the LMS. So we need an email that refers to the organization we are related to. So emails basically will allow us to communicate with our colleagues, with our teacher. It will also enable us to send a message in electronic way. There are two types of email. You either have the email in your computer as a client-based email system. So you have basically a program in your computer like Outlook, for example, Microsoft Outlook. It's a software installed on your computer, or Apple's Mail, the same idea. Then you can check your email directly from this software in your computer. So you don't need to open the browser or open the Hotmail website, for example, to check your email if you have Outlook or Apple's Mail. So if you using the client-based email system, you need a program installed on your computer. This program will be called Email Client to be installed on your computer. Alternative way, if you don't have this software installed on your computer, you have no issue, as you can log into the web. You can open the browser, you can go to the email website like hotmail.com or outlook.com. So you don't need a program installed on your computer. You can directly go to the website like Google Gmail or Microsoft Hotmail and check your email there. For any email, basically we have a construction, the same construction in every email. We have the username at the beginning. Then we have the @ sign. After the @ sign, we have the domain name. The domain name itself will constructed from different parts. The first part, like the example here, USC, basically this is the company that provide you with the email. Like, for example, in our case, we have Arab Open University. This example here is USC. So this is the mail provider company. Then the other part, we have the dot and the top level domain, which is basically will tell us this organization or the provider of this email is from this type of organization. So edu basically is educational organization. We could have .gov, we could have .moh, which is Ministry of Health, we could have MOI, which is Ministry of Interior. So basically the top level domain will tell you more about the email provider. The username, as you all know, I think it's supposed to be unique, not repeated among the same organization. So this is how the construction of the email. We should have mailbox, which is will be represented by the username. The name assigned to an account on an email system. Then we have the @sign. Then we have the domain name. The name of the organization that hosts the email to which the user subscribe. Often an institution like Arab Open University.edu or an internet service provider like gmail.com. Inside the email, we have the header section, then we have the message itself, which is the body. Then we have the signature at the end. So this is basically the construction of any email. You need some header. In the header, you need to mention to whom this email is sent to. You need to mention a subject, and the subject, it should be a summarizing information about the contents of this email. It could have also some file as an attachment, so you could include attachment to this email. So all these parts will be
Yeah, miss, there is no
من
sound.
صوتك بطل we cannot hear you.
Your mic is muted, Doctor.
now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, now. Okay.
I don't know how it's muted, but thank you for informing me.
You are welcome.
Okay, so I will repeat this part. I said for any email, we should have the same constructions. So all these elements supposed to be in any email. We're supposed to have a header. The header itself constructed from the to whom you want to send this email, the subject, which is a summarizing information about what's the email is about. And if you want to include any file as an attachment, so to, subject, and attachment, all this are constructing the header part. Inside the email itself, we have the message, the things that we want to say to the receiver. At the end, we're supposed to provide the signature telling who are we, so our names. It's supposed to tell also who are you, like the title, for example, like the secretary of a place or a student, or who are you. So you're supposed to give some title also in the signature, and some contact information like the phone number, the address, for example. So this is basically the three basic parts of any email: the header, the message, the signature. Header will include the address, which is to CC and BCC. Also will include the subject and the attachment. Message, it's supposed to have the things that you want to tell. Signature, it's supposed to include your name, the sender, the title, also what's your title, Dr., Miss, Mr., and also contact number or address. Then, if you are using an email, then for sure you will receive a spam email. Spam email basically is an email from people that you don't know. So it will be automatically transferred to junk box, or It might include some information that is false or unsolicited email or unwanted emails. So for any email inbox, for any email folder, we will have a folder called spam or junk folder, or where all these emails will be moving to there. So basically, how to deal with this type of emails. This is some advice about how to control the spam email or the junk emails. You're supposed to have two email address, one to use it officially and as your personal email, another one you can use it for news groups or for chat rooms or for social media. So it's an advice to have two email addresses, one for professional use and for businesses and for education, the other one supposed to be for socialization. Number two, don't ever give your password or share it with someone. Try to change your password frequently. Never respond to emails from people that you don't know, especially if they ask you for personal information. If you receive an email from people that you don't know and this email includes some links, so never click on that links, because most of the time if you click on links from people that you don't know, usually they hack your computers and steal your information. So never open any links, even if they try to encourage you to open this type of emails by offering a prize or offering some details. Also, the same things. Never open email attachment from someone you don't know. Be careful and be cautious with social networking sites. To control spams, you can use a spam blocker, which is a spam filter. So if you open an email and there was, if you open your email and you found an email from people that you don't know or you think it's a spam, you can select that email and set the settings to always move to junk, or this is a junk. We have also some etiquette, which is called net etiquette, about how to write a good email. Net etiquette basically rules for good online behavior. So even in the net, we have some etiquettes that we can follow. I will speak here about writing an email. So if you try to write an email, especially in business, you have to be respectful, you have to be polite, especially when emailing your manager, for example, or your instructor. Never try to send an email or text when you are angry. So if you are feeling angry, never try to write an email, as you will be emotional and you will not be careful about your language. Use an informative subject heading. Always try to include the subject in your email to inform the reader and the receiver about what he expects on the details. Is it important? Can he refer it to later? So always refer and write a subject in your email. Keep your message short and focus. Sorry, where am I? This is this one. Yes, we are here. Make sure the recipients know
No,
who you
Dr.
are.
Yes.
Yes. So make sure the recipients know who you are by using a clear signature. So if it is your first contact with this person, for example, you must include details about you, like your name, your title, who are you? Are you a student, for example? In which subject, in which course, in which group? Avoid abbreviation and emotion icons in formal email. So if you are using or if you are writing an email to your teacher, for example, or for your manager, avoid using the emoji icon, for example. Avoid using the abbreviations, the smile faces, the angry faces. So we don't use this emoji usually in formal emails, and don't use abbreviations. Don't use all capital letters, because if you write your email in capital letters, it's basically the capital letters used to highlight something very important. So if you write your email all in capital letters, this will be considered as shouting. Always check your spelling and grammar before sending an email. Classroom net etiquette. So if you are an online classroom, you have to turn off your cell phone. Don't send text or make calls while someone is speaking. Stay on the task, not in your Facebook when taking notes during class. Don't use headphones connected to your computer. It's still cheating and therefore wrong to text or receive answers to problems during class or exam. So it's like sharing answers. Distance learning. Distance learning is a type of education or a form of education. This is basically a term. We call it on the education online. So the students will be in their homes or in their works, and they will be all joining the meetings through the web at the same time, or other kind of technology like teleconferencing. So it's like what we're doing now, rather than meeting in a traditional classroom. So we don't have basically a classroom where we have chairs and tables and board. We have a screen shared between us, and we communicate only by voices. So we have the instructor and students are physically present, but in distance learning classes are virtual. So we have everything virtual. We don't sit basically together at the same place. There are some advantages of this type of education because this style of education, you can take any course you like anywhere in any education institute, wherever you have access to the web. So you can access the education while you are in home or in library or even in the car or in a vacation. They are more flexible than traditional classes, no specific time. Contact with instructor may be greater, and also it's a chance for the shy students to write, for example, their responses rather than speaking in front of people. You can become a better writer. So also it's improve the writing skills. Distance learning, classes without walls. The disadvantage and the challenge basically for the distance learning, you are a prisoner of technology because you have to be able to use the computer. You have to be able to log in and to use the Teams. You have to be able to log into LMS, SIS. You have to know how to go to your quizzes, how to upload and submit your quizzes. You have to follow the construction for uploading your homework, so the style of the name, how to turn on your work. So basically, you're supposed to know this technology to be able to study on distance. Also, you will be prisoner of technology because you will need to spend a lot of time sitting on your computer or in your phone alone. If you are studying, this means you have to focus on your lessons. You have to give attention of what's being said, and this is very difficult, especially on online education. You won't have face-to-face contact with your instructor or classmates. So basically, you are speaking to someone online, you never saw him, you don't see him, the teacher don't see the students, and the same things, the students don't see their teacher, which is actually something we miss, which is the face-to-face contact. You want to get immediate feedback. So even if I am asking a questions, I'm not expecting that someone will answer me, or I don't know who I might expect the answers from, as I don't see who are.
Indirect, يعني, that's me.
Yes, so basically there will be some delay between interpreting the questions, for example, and the reply from the students. You need to have disciplined personal responsibilities and time management skills. This is basically about how you commit to your education and your online style of education. So there are power plan, which is prepare, organize, work, evaluate, then rethink. This is called the power plan. You can imagine this is the first letter of these words. So despite it's challenging for distance learning courses, they start to become increasingly popular. Now we have a lot of colleges offering the MOOC, which is Massive Online Open Courses. As we saw in Corona, يعني last year, we saw a lot of offered courses for free from different places, universities, institutions. So we can participate in these courses even if the place of studying is very far away. If you are considering taking a distance learning course, you need to follow the steps of the power plan. So prepare. This means you have to identify the course possibilities that you want to study. Then you have to organize. You have to have an access to that technology. Then you have to work. Participate in distance learning plan. Then you have to evaluate, consider your classroom performance. You have to then rethink, reflect on what and how you have learned. So how was your experience with this style of education? Is it good for you, or it is not your style, not your type? So in prepare, identify for distance learning course possibilities, how to find and prepare for an online course, check your college, do some search on the internet, make sure your college or work will give you a credit for this course. Consider whether or not the course requirement will fit in your schedule. So do you have time to study this or not? Then get feedback from others who have taken this course if possible. So ask people who already study this course. For organize, obtain access to technology. Usually you don't need to be an expert in the computer, but at least you are supposed to have the very basic skills, like you have an email account, you have a computer with internet connection, you have some basic computer skills, you have to familiarize yourself with learning management system, which is LMS. So LMS basically is a software delivers distance learning courses to your computer. It provides the course content, like the materials you have to read, the syllables, the calendar, the exercise you have to do, and your grades. Then this, for work, participate in distance learning plan. You have to think about the skills needed online courses, as it's very different from the traditional courses. Here you have to manage your time. You have to check LMS frequently and your email frequently. You have to find an online partner to help you share study strategies, form a study group and share notes like you do usually by creating the WhatsApp group. So this is a very good idea. Also, you have to make a backup plan. Whatever happened to your computer, you don't lose all your materials. You have to backup. So you have basically to have another copy of all your files installed on your computer in online drive like Google Drive or Dropbox. So even if you have a damaged computer, you are not afraid of losing the data. You can find them online. Then for evaluate, consider your classroom performance. As with any class, students get feedback from instructors. Make sure to get the best of your instructors' comment to improve your understanding and performance in the course. In distance learning classes, comments may come from fellow students. So expect also that you will have some comments from your classmates. They may respond to your comments on online discussions. So as we have now the chat rooms, we can, someone could ask, the other students can reply him. We could have the online forums and we can share the ideas there. So we have many people can participate to our thoughts. Consider what you can learn from their comments. Ensure that your feedback to your classmates is polite. Then we have the rethink, which is reflect on what and how you have learned. Distance learning is very difficult for some people, so it is not for everyone. You should evaluate your experience with distance learning. Think about, is the distance learning for you or not? Have you learned the objective of the course? So are you basically managing your time? Can you learn from this course online? How much you have learned or you think you have learned rather than if you will be on a traditional courses. The last point in chapter 3 will be the blended learning. Blended learning is another form of education in which studying is combination of both face-to-face and online methods. So, for example, blended learning, we could have two styles of education merged together. Like if we have, for example, the ideas and the knowledge of the class online delivered, then we could have the lab. If we have some practice work to do, we could have it, for example, face-to-face on the university. So this style of education will be called blended learning. A student in blended courses may spend less time in face-to-face classroom setting and more time working independently online. So this also will need more time to study. They might collaborate with other students out of their classes. And we have some courses in AOU of this style, blended learning courses. And blended learning overcomes most of distance learning system disadvantage. Okay, so let us have a break for 15 minutes. Now it's around 6:40. So let's come back here by 5 to 7. Okay, so let us have 15 minutes break and come back later to carry on with meeting 2.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Thank you all.
Teacher, we cannot hear you.
We're having a break.
welcome back. We will continue, inshallah, in meeting 2. And we will start now chapter 4, which is about communicating in everyday life. It's also very general information, I think. So we will explain why it is important to communicate in everyday life, demonstrate types, components, and importance of communication, and also we will investigate the interpersonal skills that will help you to achieve effective communication. First, we need to understand the essential principles, which is basically the different types available for us as individuals and groups to communicate. We need to define also what is communication, which is exchanging of information. So the basic skills in communication process are we have to speak, then the other person will have to listen. Also, we need to read and to write. This is basically the communication process. Then for the social media, the online communities that use technology to communicate among also individuals or group members. So these media have changed the way friends stay in touch. Now we all in social media or in social groups. We all have accounts in Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, which is the most popular social media websites. Also, businesses and organizations, the government organizations, the entertainment organizations, they also start to have accounts in this social media as a method for marketing their products. We all now have cell phones, the mobile phones, which has become a necessity in today's life. We use cell phones basically to communicate with others through texting messaging, which is SMS message, delivering short message, photos or videos, or also we use the apps, which is the applications in our phones. We have a lot of different types of these applications. Some are games, some for navigation, which is for GPS, some for reading books, some for listening music, some for the weather. Then for the type of communication, we have 3 main types of communication. We have the oral communication, then we have the written communication, then we have the non-verbal communication. For the oral communication, basically we are speak together. So we use the words, the spoken words, to share ideas and information. We could have one-to-one conversation or meeting, or we have voice messages, or even teleconferencing. The oral communication can be instantly and provides immediate feedback. So I speak, you listen, you can give me your feedback at the same time. But the disadvantage that there is little time to reflect and there is no written records. For the written communication, we exchange the ideas and information by written words and documents like letters, faxes, text messages, email, reports, tables, diagrams, charts, and graphs. All these are type of written communication. Proves information was exchanged, so it's like an evidence about what it has been said. But the disadvantage that no immediate feedback also. For the non-verbal communication, it's basically the communication without words, the things that understandable by the body language, by the gestures of the speaker or the listener, by the face expression, by the body movement and the positions. So sometimes stronger than verbal messages, effective communicators combine oral and non-verbal techniques. Okay. So why we need to communicate? For many reasons, either to ask or inquire for information, or to inform information, like I chose this cell phone because I like it, or it come with a free app. So it's like informing someone with the details. Or to pursue, like you have to take this cell phone because it has a lot of advantage. Or to develop goodwill, thank you for buying your new cell phone from our company. So there are many reasons why we communicate. For the components of communication, we have here the sender of the message and we have here the receiver of the message. The sender will send the message through message transmission, so either by spoken or by oral, or by written, or by nonverbal, so he will send the message. Then the receiver, he's supposed to interpret the message to its meaning based on how he understands it, about what the words he read it. Then he's supposed to deliver feedback to the sender. It could be combination between written documents or oral speech or nonverbal communication. So we can communicate with more than one style. So basically there are 6 basic components of any communication. We have the sender who will compose the message. Then we have the message itself, may or may not be intended message. We have the message transmission, the media of sending the message, so determined by the specific situation. Then we have the receiver, takes deliver of the message, who will receive it. We have the message interpretation, which needs to be done by the receiver. He needs to interpret it to as the sender send it. Then he's supposed to give some feedback by both sender and receiver. What can affect the communication? The background of the receiver, his knowledge, his personality, his experience, his interest, his motivation. So all this could be factors about if he got the real meaning of the message or not. Also, the appearance of the sender or of the sender's communication. Sender's appearance make a difference. Neat and professional written communication will make positive impression. Barriers that might negatively affect the intended message. We could have, for example, the physical destruction. We could have some noise. The weather is very hot. The person or the receiver might have some illness or have some headache. Also, we could have some emotional destruction, like the receiver or the sender might be anger, or he might think about something personal. Or we could have cultural barrier, like the language differences. Or we could have the electronic destruction, like the cell phones, texting, the notification, the multitasking. So all this could be barriers about if we will get the message correctly or not. The language and communication skills of the sender and receiver, we suppose, because we will be on these cases, and somehow we will be either speaker or receiver of the message. We're supposed to be careful with what we say, our selection of words to express the intended meaning. We're supposed to be sensitive to cultural issue because we live now in a cultural diversity community. So if something acceptable in our culture doesn't mean it's acceptable in other culture, and the opposite way. So we have to be careful with this issue. Then message senders must have a broad vocabulary and the ability to spell, pronounce, and select the correct words. In spoken communication, word choice, grammar, and pronunciation are also factors. In written communication, the incorrect words may change the entire meaning of the message. Then a message receiver must be able to read and listen with understanding. So both the sender and the receiver share the responsibility for effective communication. So the purpose here is how to get effective communication. So interpersonal communication, effective communication requires the sender understand his own interpersonal communication. So basically it's how you understand the communication and what you're supposed to do to make your message clear. Interpersonal communication is the way each person views and interprets information based on his life experience. Communicating with yourself must take place before you can communicate with another person. So it's like constructing the ideas inside your minds before you say it. Selecting your words before you say it. So interpersonal communication occurs between two peoples like doctor and patient. What is your responsibility? You have to evaluate the communication situation. The most important thing is that you avoid miscommunication. So it's like avoid the misunderstanding of the real message. Because the purpose of having the communication that the message is delivered correctly with its all meaning to the receiver. So the intended message, the actual message, and the interpreted message will be the same. This is the purpose. We need to avoid miscommunication. When it's happened, when components of one or more of these three messages are different for either the sender or the receiver. This is why the feedback is important. So you have to give feedback when you receive a message. The feedback could be either oral or written or non-verbal by nodding, for example, the head. Number two is understand personal needs. Understand the needs of the receiver using Maslow's 5 level of needs, which is basically Maslow divide the needs of the person, of the human being, to 5 levels. The most base one is the physical needs, the needs for being, the needs for food, for clothes, for shelter. Then, and the level 2 is the security needs, the needs for the person to be in safe, from physical harm and mental abuse. Then, and the third level is the social needs, the desire to be with a group and family and social contact and a relationship with in the work. Then number 4 is the STEAM needs. So we need first to fill in the needs in the first place, the physical, then the security, then the social, until we reach the top on the pyramids. So STEAM needs basically is satisfying your feeling with your feeling of importance, your self-respect, your power or recognition. Then on the top of the pyramids is the self-actualizing needs, like the needs for feeling achievement, the competency and the creativity, and by helping others meet their own needs. Someone have his mic is on and it makes some noise. Can you make sure that you turn off your mic, please? People who reach the top in their fields often want to use their abilities to benefit others and help them achieve similar success. So this is the pyramids. we have at the bottom base is the physical, then security, then social, all this called the basic needs. So any person needs to fulfill these needs first until he reach the top of the pyramids, which is the self-esteem and self-actualizing. This is the highest level needs. So assess the needs of the receiver by helping the receiver satisfy the higher two levels of needs. The sender can improve communication. So the highest level needs is self-actualizing and esteem. Apply interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills basically is the ability to understand and deal with people in a way that maintains a favorable relation and goodwill. How it can be, we have many ways of communication. We have the you attitude and we have the I attitude. You attitude, you think about the reader or listener first rather than mentioning yours, you mention them. So an example is, for your convenience, we are extending our clinic. Whereas the I attitude could be something because it suits me, it's fit my schedule, then I decide to extend the hours of the clinic. Also, be a good listener.
Sorry, doctor, we can't hear you. You are muted, maybe.
الصوت انقطع.
Doctor, are you here?
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Doctor.
الو.
في أحد طالع عنده صوت ولا لا؟
لا ما في صوت.
لا.
اي كلنا.
زين زين.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
before no. Now it's okay.
Yes.
Sorry about the issue. My laptop
Sorry.
just ran out of battery. So I reconnected again. Can you see my screen, my PowerPoint screen?
No.
Okay, so let me make sure now. I have many open windows, so just a second. Open the SharePoint, then I think I have an issue with this account. So I will share my full screen with you. Window, no, it's here, it's fine. Okay, so I was think I will make it, but unfortunately my laptop just ran out of battery. So we are here in interpersonal skills. I was saying that you have to use the you attitude, not the I attitude. Be a good listener. You have to listen carefully because a good listener are good learner. Ask a question, take note, let the speaker know you are interested. Maintain confidentiality by releasing information to authorized personnel at the appropriate time, not early and not late. So you have to give the information that you are sure about it, and when you are actually have some authorized to publish that information. Be considerate. You have treat others as you would like to be treated. A good communicator is cautious, honest, patient, and respect the opinion of others. So what is the responsibilities of the sender of the message and the receiver of the message? You have to evaluate the situation. You have to avoid the miscommunication.
Sorry, doctor, but your slide is not clear.
My slide is not clear, so I will reshare the screen again. More action. Now, is it clear? Can you see my screen?
Still not clear.
We can see it, but it's the same.
Yes.
Okay, so let me check. My internet is good. I'm not sure about the issue. So let me check here. Open the shared window, then I will share the whole desktop and see. Now, is it better?
Yes, better.
Okay, very good. So what is your responsibility and your actions? Basically, you have to avoid miscommunication. You have to receive and give a feedback, and always try to maintain goodwill. Understand your needs and the receiver's needs. You have to fulfill each of your own and your receiver's needs based on Maslow's pyramids, especially the top level one, which is the STEAM and the self-actualizing. Also, you have to apply the interpersonal skills like using the you attitude, demonstrate positive attitude, be a good listener, and maintain confidentiality and be considerate. By this, we finish meeting 2, and we covered today 2 chapters. I know it has a lot of general information. This might make it easier to study as it's more general, but although you have to study this general information as material knowledge for your course. Do you have any question? Is there any question?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is which group? I think this is, I put it in the meeting name, so it's the same meeting schedule. You can check the meeting name title and you will know the group number. Thank you very much for attending today's session, and I think next week we will have no session, as we basically it is long weekend. So today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's a vacation. Then we will meet again, inshallah, on 1st of March. So I will meet you, inshallah, after 2 weeks. We have no issue with that date, I believe. Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice day. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're welcome.
السلام ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Thank you, doctor. See you later.